The College Football 25 full reveal video just came out at 11 a.m. today, and in this video I wanted to break down some of the stuff you might not have noticed on the very first time, as well as kind of setting things up for when the game actually comes out and the full magnitude of what this trailer actually means in terms of all the small little details. That being said, let's get straight into it. The first thing I noticed was that in this screenshot, the lighting looks absolutely phenomenal. The sun kind of coming through and getting distorted like a real camera would. I think this is amazing, and if the real game actually looked like this, I think we have a lot to look forward to in terms of graphics, and that leads me to the next thing, which the clouds and sky look great in this clip right here, where you can see, the helicopters up in the sky, the blue sky and clouds just they look super realistic, and I think they look better even than some of the other sports games out today. Now, hopefully you don't get mad at me for what I'm about to say, but I know it's hard. I feel like the character models just look way too much like Madden, and I know they can't create a whole game from scratch and include all the player models, but you see how they kind of move and look. I feel like it's just Madden but with college jerseys on, but who knows? It's hard to, ask for more when it's EA in a situation like this. On a happier note and more kind of subtle, you can see that snow is confirmed based on this clip. I really didn't doubt that they were going to include snow, but here it is if you were wondering. There isn't much to say about the clip of the crowd other than it looks pretty standard. It's a crowd, it's what people expected. There's not going to be anything super fancy with that. Later down the line though, you can see stuff like Penn State's whiteout, so I do think that's kind of cool. Stuff like this where it's traditions and stuff is cool, but I don't know how this is going to fit into the game. It could just be for the trailer to just show hype, but I don't know how they're going to implement this. This clip of Washington is cool because it shows two things. Number one being that Axiom helmets are confirmed, which I expected they would be because, all the helmets are going to be in the game. Axiom just came out and they're kind of, hot. So I really thought that they weren't just going to leave it out. But here they are if you were, debating whether they're in the game. And on the other hand, I don't know how accurate this will be in the actual game, but you can see the rain on the helmet looks very, very sharp and very good in general. You can see each individual raindrop, and once again that could just be for the trailer to show that graphics are good and all that stuff like that, but I definitely think if that's in the game, that would be a very cool graphics addition. I'm aware that EA Sports asked colleges for their surrounding areas and surrounding buildings, and in this clip of Oregon you can see that they do have some buildings. Now it's not super detailed, obviously it's good enough for what we expect for this game, and I'm glad they're gonna have the placement of buildings probably exactly right, what the buildings look like, just not super high resolution, and there's nothing wrong with that. It could start running too hard if you have all these fancy different buildings outside of the stadium that you barely see except for cutaway cuts and stuff like that. This shot of Texas A&M shows us a lot. The first thing is that turf tape is in the game and most likely customizable, as you can see on the back of, I think, number 18, his arms have the turf tape on them. Another thing is that undershirts are in the game. You can see the O lineman has the white undershirt, and finally rolling up knee pads are confirmed. You can see multiple players have them above their knee, which is something that needed to be in the game. We weren't sure if EA was actually going to put it in because a lot of players do it in the real game. So I'm glad that they did choose to include rolling up knee pads, and you'll see it a lot more throughout this trailer. I hate to say it, but shots like these show that it's going to be basically identical to Madden graphics wise. You can see the field and lighting. It looks the exact same if you were about to just hop into a Madden NFL 24 game. But once again, you can't really blame them. They're EA Sports, it's a football game. They're going to copy some things over from Madden, and it's hard to build a whole new game engine or whatever they do over there. So I just wanted to point this out. It's not really that big of a deal. I'm more concerned about the gameplay, but it is what it is. I just wanted to tell you guys about this. This next shot confirms something I really wanted, and it's the ability to roll your jersey up. You can see his torso is exposed, the jersey up around the shoulder pads. I know Ezekiel Elliott basically started this, 10 years ago, and I'm glad they chose to include it in the game because this is a crazy, good customization option for the game, and I know not as many people do it nowadays, but I'm still so glad they decided to include it. It's hard to judge these animations. You know, you see them cutting and stuff because those could just be for the trailer. It's hard to decipher what is actually real versus what is actually just for the trailer. And maybe some of these animations will be in the game. Some of them look very similar to Madden, but we'll just have to wait and see. Being an Ohio State fan, this scene was especially disrespectful. Ohio State getting stiff-armed. We didn't get a cover athlete. We didn't get anything else. We just got stiff-armed in the trailer. So that's a little bit disappointing, but we'll see in November who's really better. Sticking with Ohio State, this shot of McCord shows that, you know, I mentioned it earlier, undershirts are customizable. You can see that it's actually coming out from underneath his jersey and the jersey's kind of rolled up. So I think that'd be cool because we can have, you know, our jersey up around our pads we saw earlier, and then, you know, have the, you know, loose long sleeve shirt hanging out. So I think that's really cool that they would include this, and it's something I kind of expected all along. Just like everything else in the trailer, the mascots here look especially refined and a lot more detailed than they were in NCAA 14, which obviously I really like. More customization stuff. This shot of the LSU wide receiver shows that there will be, you know, tape around the cleats, which obviously I expected to be in the game because it's a big part of drip in football, I guess you could say. So this isn't really a huge surprise, but I was going to show it anyway. Not much else happens in the trailer. There's a couple things I'm going to mention, but it looks decent, I guess. It just shows off the graphics and some different, you know, animations and traditions and stuff like that. You see Milroe getting sacked, but that's about it for the trailer in terms of content. This clip right here shows that this player does have Jordan gloves, which I don't believe were in NCAA 14, so that's something at least. We have Jordan gloves confirmed in the game. And just like that, that about wraps up the trailer. That's all there is to it. And I know I've been saying a lot of positive things about it, but of course, here come the negative ones. So click off if you don't want to hear negative thoughts about the trailer. If you watched any of my videos, you know what my very first complaint will be. And it's the fact that there was no gameplay footage. Sure, they showed Army, you know, doing a triple option and showed App State returning a kick. Who cares? I want to see how the game plays, and that's the whole point of a reveal trailer, is that it comes out in 2 months, and I want to see how it plays. I've already pre-ordered it, but I still want to know how it plays, and they have to reveal that soon, and that's the whole reason I was excited for the reveal, was to see how the gameplay was going to work and how it's so different. Sure, I might make a video on it later, but there's this Camp Sense IQ or whatever it's called. That's not enough information. I want to see how the game actually plays. They have not given us enough in this trailer to really form an opinion on how the game plays. They can show all the touching the statues before the game, all the bands and all that random stuff in the trailer, but I want to see how the game actually functions. Give us some Road to Glory clips. Give them some clips from high school and stuff like that, where we can actually go off of it instead of showing kind of the same thing over and over. I had some stuff to break down, but it was more cosmetic stuff, and I don't know, I'm just ranting right now, but it makes me mad. EA, how can you just not show us any gameplay in the trailer? Obviously, I really want this game to be successful, and me saying something with 2,000 subscribers isn't going to change EA's mind about anything, but I just wonder why EA doesn't take the next step and show us more. That was not an official reveal. That was a compilation of clips that they scripted out and probably aren't even real animations. So I definitely think this trailer was weak, and I said it was good for most of this video, but the main focus parts just aren't there. So that's the biggest reason I was disappointed when I watched this. I was just so hyped for it, and it kind of fell flat. Like, it gets me hyped, sure, that there's all these teams and the graphics looks good, but that's about all I take away from it, really. I mean, it's a college football game. It has graphics like Madden, which it should. It has lots of customization, and it has traditions. That's the summary. That's what we got today. And they need to start coming out with some more stuff in at least the next month. I hope, you know, a month from now, June 17th, we know a lot more about how the game functions and how stuff like that works, but I really don't know. They might leave us hanging all the way until July 16th. That's going to wrap it up. I'm done, you know, bashing the trailer. It is what it is, but if you did watch this far, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.